A Man on the Moon, an impetus for innovation. Numerous inventions and innovations were made to accomplish President John F. Kennedy's goal of landing a man on the moon. As a result of rapid advancements, these technologies are now used throughout our everyday lives, improving our health, computing, communications, safety, and more. These innovations make modern life simpler and easier and have made a tremendous imprint on society. When the Soviet Union launched the first human into space, Yuri Gagarin, it was a wake-up call for America. The following month, on May 25, 1961, in a joint session of Congress, President Kennedy first proposed his goal of landing a man on the moon and returning him safely to the Earth before the decade was out. President Kennedy continued to promote this goal among the American people.
But why, some say, the moon? Why choose this as our goal? We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard. Because that goal will serve to organize and measure the best of our energies and skills.
During the Cold War, the Soviet Union and America were building up nuclear weapons. If one country had the technology to drop devastating bombs directly on their opponent, then the other country could do the same.
So there was this race, and what this race meant is that if you weren't doing it first, that meant that your society, your way of life, your way of politics was inferior. And as a result of that, we had this space race.
The space race was essentially a race to see which country could develop the capacity to deliver nuclear bombs first. The ability to have this destructive power could ultimately lead to world domination. This was the underlying motivation to get a man on the moon.
Had there not been a Cold War, there would not have been a Project Apollo.
Project Apollo was a direct result of the Cold War and the space race. This led to many advanced technologies, all propelled by Kennedy's goal.
NASA didn't invent new things to get a man on the moon. For the most part, they improved past inventions. For example, freeze-dried food, Tang, and Velcro were not invented by the space program. They were just put to good use for the astronauts. Getting to the moon all came down to the massive investment the American people made, and they received a generous return in these accelerated technologies. One of the most significant ways the space program impacted our lives was in the field of medicine and health. New technology was forwarded dramatically, leading to the capability to save more lives than ever before.
The biggest was in the medical industry. Everything we did, we had to miniaturize and we had to get it to where we could read it.
This miniaturization resulted in new devices, such as the pacemaker, which is able to steady an irregular heartbeat. Originally used in the space program to give NASA a way to contact satellites, the technology was modified to be used in pacemakers. There are many people whose lives have been extended.
That one right here saved my life about a year and a half ago. I would have died if it hadn't been here.
Another medical device that has been majorly influenced by Kennedy's goal is the CAT scanner. Computerized tomography can look at the body in slices from head to toe. NASA needed clearer pictures of the moon in space. CT scans work virtually the same way. This is a crucial tool for doctors in the treatment of various diseases.
The Apollo missions also led to advanced vision screening systems. The same techniques that were used for taking space pictures were later put to use for examining people's eyes more quickly and accurately. Similarly, the same technology that is now used in ear thermometers was first developed by NASA to determine when a star was born. Both detect heat, either from a fever or from energy radiating from a star's birth. Reclaimable water also came out of the space program. Reclaimable water is when water is purified to be reused. This was needed in the space missions because it would be exceedingly difficult to carry tons of water in space. You would need to reuse most of the water in the rocket, hence reclaimable water sprang to life. Reclaimable water is now used in homes, factories, restaurants, and more. It aids us in many ways, including the fact that we don't need to pay as much to continuously use new water. One more innovation to benefit health is memory foam, which was used to cushion seats from G-forces in the capsules of rockets. Now it is used in mattresses, pillows, seats, and even shoes. As much as the first walk on the moon changed medicine and health, it also led to the dramatic acceleration of advancements in computers.
What Project Apollo brought to computing wasn't that they invented the computer. What it did, it brought millions and millions of dollars into computing, and that influx of money allowed computing to become smaller faster.
Breakthroughs in computers led to countless innovations, including modern smartphones. Today, almost all jobs include working with at least one computer.
Jumps in computing led to jumps in communications. For example, NASA found ways to fix errors in signals being transmitted from satellites. The same technology that was progressed for space communications is currently being utilized in TV satellite dishes to prevent distorted video or sound. Safety also benefited greatly from the space program. The fire-resistant material developed for the astronaut spacesuits is now employed in firefighters' uniforms, helping to shield them from scorching flames. Our vehicles are safer now too. The computer program NASA introduced for predicting how certain parts will act in spacecrafts was repurposed to help car makers design safer vehicles. These advancements have helped to reduce the number and severity of injuries from car accidents. In addition to life-saving or groundbreaking technologies, a number of other innovations can be traced back to the goal of landing a man on the moon. First created for the Apollo missions to allow astronauts to drill for moon rock samples, cordless power tools remain useful for many jobs from carpentry and welding to vacuuming and lawn care.
Originally created for the lunar roving vehicle so that astronauts could steer from any seat, the joystick transformed the gaming world. Lots of other innovations came out of Kennedy's goal, including home insulation, invisible braces, shock-absorbing footwear, and adjustable sensitivity smoke detectors. Yet on top of all the many tangible benefits that the goal to get a man on the moon produced, it also changed us emotionally. When people watched Neil Armstrong step on the moon, they didn't see an American on the moon. They saw a man on the moon. In that moment, Kennedy's goal brought us together as a world. If President Kennedy had never set this goal, would we have all these improved technologies we do today? Would we have CAT scanners, reclaimable water, iPhones? The curiosity of mankind is too strong to hold us back from innovation. Most likely we would eventually have them, but we might still well be at the stage of technology we were 20 or even 30 years ago.
If NASA had not taken the lead, because that's the government bringing government money and hiring contractors, I think if we had left that to industry, we would still be talking about it. Because industry, commercial industry, has to make money quickly.
It all came down to John F. Kennedy's goal of landing a man on the moon and returning him safely to the Earth.
We set sail on this new sea because there is new knowledge to be gained and new rights to be won, and they must be won and used for the progress of all people.
Once we went to the moon, it changed us in many ways.
That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Getting a man on the moon allowed us to innovate and advance past inventions. The modern world was changed astronomically as a result of these rapidly forwarded technologies. Many aspects of our lives were improved upon, including momentous strides in health, computing, communications, and safety. Overall, Kennedy's goal truly made a giant leap for mankind.